Now we know how we can activate the default validation in any form. Let's see how we can customize this validation and not to show the default ugly looking pop-up message, but to show something uh, more attractive and more visible to the user to clearly differentiate the valid inputs and invalid inputs. To do that, first thing we have to do is we have to go to the form element, and in this form element we have to add here something like called no validate. So this no validate uh, lets the browser know that we don't want this default pop-up. So it lets us suppress this default browser pop-up, and it will no longer show that browser pop-up whenever whenever the input fields are invalid. So let's run this again. Let's refresh again and see. So now it's not showing that pop-up. So it just submitted. But on the other hand, we don't want to submit as well. Instead, we want to uh, show some other kind of validations, not that kind of default pop-up. So to achieve that, let's see what we can do. So we can add another class into this form. So I'm going to add here, in addition to this text center class, I'm going to add a class called needs validation. And next, I have to target this class in one of the JS files that I'm going to create. So let me create here another folder in the same level as CSS and assets folders. I will name it as JS, and inside this JS folder I will create a file called script.js. So to access this JS file, we have to link to that JS file here just above the closing body tag, similar to what we did when we link to the bootstrap.bundle.min.js. I'm going to add a script tag, and in this src I will link to the JS, then script.js. Here in this JS file that we created, we have to target that needs-validation class, and let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to paste this code into this script.js, and after that, let's see what this code does. So now in this code, using this document.querySelector_all, it looks for this needs-validation class, and it's put it into the constant. And then here it looks for that constant, and it looks for the form, each form, and it add event listener, using this add event listener for the submit event, when the submit button is pressed, it checks for the form's validity. So, and here it checks for the validity, and if it is not valid, it is going to add is hyphen invalid class to this. So by default in Bootstrap, this is hyphen invalid class has nice styles to show the user that this input element is uh, missing something. And so if the form is invalid, if the input elements are invalid, this is hyphen invalid class will automatically add to these input elements, and then it will show those kind of nice styles uh, in those input elements. And if the fields are valid, then those fields gets is hyphen valid class, and then those styles will apply to those inputs, kind of a green border for the is hyphen valid, and for is hyphen invalid it will show a red color border, and we can see that. So let me now we have already added the script to the script.js, and in our HTML file we have linked to that script.js file, and other things we have already done. We have previously added those required values. And also in the form tag we have added that no validate, and we added this needs hyphen validation class also. Now let's save it, and I'm going to refresh, and when we click next, it will show some styles in these fields. So now it shows this red border with this kind of exclamation mark, and that's coming from that is hyphen invalid class from Bootstrap. So once we add a text, any text here, that change to green color border with check mark, green check mark, and that means is hyphen valid class has now applied to this particular text box. Similarly, it will do for all the text boxes when we add the proper values. So here we have to add this at, and then this kind of another letter to indicate to follow the proper email structure, and then it turned to a green color border and a green check mark. Here, soon as we select one radio button, it turned to green color. And now all the fields are valid, and we can click the next button and it will submit the form without any problem.